Welcome to humanity. This is our one.
Whatever it takes, we got to say whatever it takes is what it took.
This is Brock Lesnar, and you're listening to Fight.net Radio.
Yo, hi, this is Sugar Ray Leonard, and you listen to Fight.net Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to listen to Fight.net Radio.
Lee Harvey Oswald, what's your name? I know how am I supposed to know you?
This is Frank Shamrock. You're listening to Fight.net Radio.
Hi, this is Nia, the Knockout St. John. You're listening to Fight.net Radio, and there's no way I would ever touch Lee.
This is Chuck Jackson.
I am Stephen Bonner, and you're listening to Fight.net Radio.
Dan Henderson, you're listening to Fight.net Radio.
Everybody, welcome to Fight.net Radio, where Lee's burning every bridge there is out there. All right.
Hi, this is Manny Pacquiao. I'll fight anybody on FightNetRadio.com.
Hey, I'm the king of the world! Hold it, you're not that crazy. I'm a bad man! I took up the world!
Hi everybody, welcome to Fight.net Radio. I wonder if I left that part in. Joined by Andrew Lafayette, his writer. My name is Lee Harnish. I am just me. The function of this show is to bring you up to date on the wonderful world of boxing and everything that's going on in and around it. The format of the show is very simple. Andrew gives me, in this particular case, a very long list of stories he would like to talk about, and then I say something stupid, clever, or witty to make the show entertaining. Because truthfully, I think most of you boxing fans would agree that it's a shit show these days. Just saying. How are you, Andrew?
Doing good, Lee. Little upset the Raiders lost last night, but at least our offense looked like it was clicking finally. Definitely ready for the regular season.
Well, good. So the biggest news of the week was this Colin Kaepernick fiasco. And I just happened to be online when it hit. And maybe within the first 20 seconds, it was on Twitter. It showed up in my feed from 3 different sources on Twitter. So I decided to respond to it. And my response, which caused quite the Twitterverse conversation, I wrote, I don't think he's prepared for the kind of scrutiny he's going to be under. It would help if he was a superstar before he makes this kind of play. And so I'll be politically correct in this case. I know I'm mostly not on this show, but for the sake of this discussion, I will be. I would say that there was a large African-American population that wrote back to me via Twitter, and I quote, I don't want to get anybody wrong, but this is what the gist of everybody's comments. So you're saying that we shouldn't stand up? Or my other favorite, which is, so you need to be an athlete or an all-star to stand up? To which I responded to all of these, no. I'm talking about a sub-rate quarterback who doesn't operate well under a microscope to begin with, who's barely on that team, who's got to think about his fans, his family, his friends. Oh, and the fact that his day job isn't going to tolerate this crap.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, Colin.
I kept saying this repeatedly. He's going to be made out to be a villain, which I've already seen repeatedly.
And there's many reasons. Lead one, Colin Kaepernick was fined in the NFL for using racist slurs in his career. 2, he's been on the biggest stage that any sports athlete can have. That's the Super Bowl. He never had anything to say back then. And believe me, if anyone thinks that the Black Lives Matter union movement wasn't there 4 years ago, you're highly mistaken. It was. There was things going on then. He had nothing to say. Look at Colin Kaepernick does whatever's trending. That's why he's full of tattoos. That's why he has the Beats headphones on when he's walking around. He thinks he's cool because all the kids are doing it. That's what's trending. Well, right now, what's trending is supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, and that's what he did. He needs fans. He needs...
Andrew, this just in. We have a breaking story while we're recording.
What? I was boring.
Juan Gabriel
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Died
Yes,
just
sir.
moments ago, just 2 hours ago.
I heard about that. I know my grandma.
What's the bigger story? Juan Gabriel or Mr. Fuji dying?
I don't know. Mr. Fuji, what are you talking about?
From the WWE, Mr. Fuji. He's dead too today.
Well, those are two different parts of the world. I'm sure everyone in the WWE fan base is mourning that loss, and I'm sure everyone in the what would you say he wasn't really a banda singer. What would you call Gabriel? What kind of singer?
Tejano.
All right, then I'm sure they're mourning
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
they're mourning the loss too. I know my grandma probably somewhere is.
I'm sure she is. I mean, that is the equivalent of her Neil Diamond.
Yeah, a few anti. Yeah, I'm sure it's a.
He is the Hispanic Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
With that said, it's also Go Topless Day.
Nice, like it.
Did you go topless?
I haven't really. Yeah, I'm topless right now.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Good for you. And tell your wife to put a top on because all you seem to do is impregnate her when she isn't wearing a top.
You know, we had a little bit of baby fever this week, Lee.
Oh my God, again?
We were at Babies R Us 2 different times, but we're buying a bed for Junior. So
okay, let's catch new listeners up. Andrew has
3 babies.
Like a litter.
You have
3.
a
litter. You have a litter. Like if you were a dog, you'd call it a litter. You have a lot of kids.
So yes. So she goes there looking for a bed, comes back with this wild idea that she wants a daughter. I'm like, babe, stop it. Don't do that. You know, we're done. And then she tells me I have to go pick up the bed, Lee. So yesterday morning, I'm on my way to Babies R Us to get my son his new bed. And then I wanted a baby after I left that store. You know, there's way too many babies at Babies R Us. So we had a little bit of a baby rush thing going there for a quick minute. Hopefully he'll get past without anything happening. I'll keep you in touch.
So let's keep to the Twitter storylines that are, since I'm now Twitterversing more. I've turned my Twitter into a constant news feed now. For those that care, the Chargers lost their third running back today. Didn't even trend. How sad is that? We lost actually one of our sort of utility running backs with an Achilles tendon.
Hey, what about the Joey Bosa story, Lee?
You know what? I've been waiting for you to bring up the whole Bosa story. That possibly is the dumbest thing in NFL history. They're willing to give him 75% of his money up front,
right,
and the other 25% at the end of the season for his entire contract.
Well, when your great-grandfather was the crime boss of Chicago for 40 years, yeah, you kind of get what you want when those contract situations come up. And if you don't...
he's not.
Well, he's walking, but they're not getting him either.
You're talking about a first-round top 5 draft pick, right?
Yes.
So he gets held out the whole season. Chargers are going to be, maybe a 9-7, 10-6 team, somewhere in that range. Okay, they got Phillip Rivers, so they're always going to be either really good or really bad. They're kind of, that's just kind of the way the team plays out.
Right.
So this guy gets held out till the draft next year. He can't work out for anybody. He can't do anything. They can drop him in draft day at the last minute, pick up their draft pick again, right?
Yes.
Because the Chargers don't lose their draft pick. They can just drop this dude right back in, get their draft pick, jump right back in. He hasn't worked out. He drops out of the top 10 automatically.
He'll get a shot. He'll get a shot. This is the NFL. They can play the power move on this situation. They were talking about this guy was going to be a 10-year fixture in the San Diego Chargers roster. That is all gone now. Johnny Manziel, the drug addict, the guy who keeps releasing pictures and he looks worse every time, just got a job with the Pittsburgh Steelers. he will get a job in the NFL.
He'll get a job, but he's not going to get a contract like he's being offered right now.
I don't know if their family needs it. And I don't mean to keep bringing this up like this is, this is facts.
You think this kid's holding out for a winning team?
And he wants to be on the East Coast. I don't think he wanted any part of the West Coast. These guys, they probably want to be closer to home, I don't think he wants to be over here. San Diego has nothing for him. I don't even know. Does Joey Bosa even like seafood? Probably not. Stupid pick.
What has that got to do with it? It would be more Mexican food than seafood.
And I don't know if Italian likes Mexican food either. I think they should have looked into that. They should have maybe talked to the guy to see if he actually wanted to come to San Diego.
Who doesn't like Mexican food? What kind of criminal activity is that shit? I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, too.
The last thing on Twitter. So this went around this week by Boxing Scene. I follow them as well as Boxing News and everybody else and all the boxers. And by the way, why people don't set up their Twitters to turn into, constant news feeds so you know what's going on every second of the day is beyond me. So Oscar De La Hoya said this week, and I quote, Canelo's going to outdraw.
He's a dumbass.
Both of the Pacquiao fights combined.
Golden Boy's had a history of this, though. Richard Schaefer used to do the same thing.
Oscar, no, I really truthfully wanted to know if Oscar was, drinking again. Like, that's crazy.
It really is. There's nobody really talking about this Canelo Smith fight. I think that's why Oscar's bringing stupid stories up like this, so we can actually push it as he's going crazy, but yet we'll still be reading about Smith versus Canelo. The point of the matter is nobody's really onto Canelo right now, not even his own fan base. Canelo came out this week saying how hurt he was or how, he didn't appreciate how much criticism he was taking for this fight. And I'm sorry, Saul, but when you go on national television and tell everyone how, you don't fuck around and you have the balls to fight anyone and all this talk, all this big, got all the crowd cheering, everyone thinks the fight's going to happen, and 72 hours later that belt is given up to the guy you're supposed to fight for free. He didn't even have to fight for it. You look like a puss. You look like a puss. And you say, oh, you're not supposed to say that about fighters. You didn't ever fight professionally. I'm sorry, I didn't. I didn't choose that profession. He did. And the situation that he's in right now, he doesn't look good. Not at all. Even if he gives us this fight down the line, Lee, with Triple G being the age that he is, 34, what the haters of Saul Alvarez are going to say as soon as he beats him a year and a half from now or a year from now. He waited until he got old, right? That fight was huge in 2016. He didn't take it. He waited until the end of 2017 when the guy was damn near almost 36 years of age. He waited until he got too old. Yeah, there's the avenues there. Saul should have took that fight when it was brought up to him the first time. He's in the dead. He's in his prime. There are no excuses. This kid's been a professional for like 15 years. He's 26, 27 years old. There are no excuses. Everyone else that is supposed to be a legend or a pay-per-view ticket seller in this sport, at his age, they're already putting in hard work. And I'll give it to Saul. He did start off on a very good run. When he was with HBO doing the Sugar Shane Mosley, the Kermit Cintrone, he was supposed to fight Paul Williams, ended up fighting Floyd Mayweather right after that, Esrelandi Lara. He's had some very good fights, but ever since the Mayweather beatdown, I think they've come back to earth on who Saul Alvarez is. And they've taken off their pedal off the gas on the opposition, and the fans know it. And I love this sport, Lee. You've heard me for a few weeks now talk about I'm getting tired of these massive matchups that I'm supposed to pump out here like they're fights that we really want to see when they're not. We are desperately missing the big matchups that we're supposed to be getting already. One of them is Saul Alvarez versus the whole top three of the junior middleweight division. That would be Lara rematch, the two Charlo brothers, These fights should have already happened. Everybody's undefeated. I think Lara has a few losses. The other two guys are undefeated. Saul has a loss. They should have already been made, and we're not getting them.
Yeah. That was really good, Andrew.
Last night.
And for those first-time listeners, that's how the show works. Now let's get to the stuff Andrew actually wrote that he wants me to read. Starting with Robert Guerrero.
Tough luck.